My friends, let me tell you something important as we begin today. If there were ever a time when you needed clarity, discipline, and a strong personal philosophy, it's right now. Not someday in the future. Not when things slow down. Not when the world becomes simpler, because the truth is, the world isn't slowing down for you or for me. This year we call 2025 is moving at a pace that can sweep an unprepared person right off their feet. AI is reshaping industries before breakfast. Distraction has become a daily companion. Burnout, fatigue, and overwhelm are now considered normal. And the average person is no longer steering their life, they're being pulled by currents they don't even see. But here's the good news. Principles don't go out of style. Only people do. When life becomes fast, principles become priceless. When the world gets loud, wisdom becomes rare. When everything around you changes, the one thing that must remain steady is you. If I lived in your world today, this modern world of algorithms and automation, I wouldn't start by teaching you how to use every new tool or how to chase every new trend. No. I would begin with what has always mattered most. I'd start with self-leadership, because no matter how advanced the tools become, no matter how impressive the technology is, no matter how intelligent the machines get, you are still the driver of your own destiny. The real battlefield is not out there in the marketplace. The battle is for your attention. The battle is for your habits. The battle is for your mind. And leadership, real, substantial, life-changing leadership always begins where the world cannot see it, inside. So today, I want to share with you 7 habits I would teach with absolute urgency if I were alive and speaking on a stage in 2025. 7 habits to help you rise above the noise, overcome the overwhelm, resist the burnout, and reclaim the clarity that leads to success. 7 habits that help you control your tools instead of letting your tools control you. 7 habits that help you remain calm in the chaos, strong in the storm, and disciplined in a world that tempts you to drift. Because one thing hasn't changed since the very beginning. Everything gets better when you get better, and everything falls apart when you fall apart. So let's begin this journey of modern self-leadership. Let's look at the habits that matter now more than ever. Let's explore how timeless wisdom guides us through a fast-changing world. And we'll start with the first essential habit, the one that protects your mind from the noise of this new age. My friends, if I lived in 2025, the very first thing I'd tell you is this: your mind is under attack. Not by armies, not by governments, not by strangers on the street, but by an endless flood of information. In my day, you had to go searching for news, searching for opinions, searching for entertainment. Today, it follows you, chases you, interrupts you, competes for your attention every minute of the day. And if you don't control the flow will control you. Now listen carefully. Your mind is the most valuable real estate you will ever own. More important than your house, more important than your bank account, more important than your title at work. Because everything in your life, decisions, habits, relationships, income, the whole package flows out of the condition of your mind. So if your mind is cluttered, confused, chaotic, your life will eventually reflect the same. In 2025, the average person doesn't lose to lack of talent. They lose to input overload. They lose to mental noise. They lose to discipline that dissolves under distraction. So here's the first habit I would insist you adopt. Guard your mind like a fortress. Set rules. Set boundaries. Set filters. Not to keep the world out, but to keep your wisdom in. You see, your mind is like a garden. If you plant flowers, it grows beauty. If you plant vegetables, it grows nourishment. But if you plant nothing at all, weeds will grow automatically. And in today's world, the weeds come disguised as entertainment, outrage, gossip, comparison, and noise. Always available, always tempting, always waiting to steal another hour. Now here's the principle. If you don't choose your thoughts, the algorithm will choose them for you. And the algorithm does not care about your purpose. It cares about your attention. It will feed your fear, fuel your insecurity, distract your focus, and drain your energy, all while calling itself recommended for you. So, what should you do? You create a mind gatekeeping ritual, a daily practice that decides what gets in and what stays out. In the morning, before the world rushes in with chaos and demands, you give your mind something solid, something stable, something nourishing, 10 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of reflection, a moment of gratitude, a page from a book of principles. You feed your mind before the world feeds it confusion, because the mind must be led. And if you don't lead it, something else will. Guard your inputs, my friends, because your life will always follow the direction of your dominant thoughts. And your dominant thoughts are shaped by whatever you allow into the inner world. So the first habit of self-leadership in 2025 is clear. Control the inputs. Direct the flow. Choose what you absorb, because your mind is a fortress and only you hold the key to its gate. My friends, let me share something with you that is absolutely essential in this modern world you're living in. People today are asking the wrong question. They're asking, will AI replace me? But that's not the real question. The real question, the one that determines your future, is this. Will I use AI to become more valuable, or will I use it to avoid the work that builds value? Because let me tell you something. Tools don't replace people, but tools do replace people who refuse to grow. AI is not your enemy. AI is not your competition. AI is simply a mirror. It magnifies who you already are. If you're curious, it expands your learning. If you're disciplined, it accelerates your progress. But if you're lazy, well, it will only help you get to failure faster. Back in my day, people thought the typewriter would replace writers. The calculator would replace thinkers. The computer would replace workers. But here's the principle. Technology doesn't replace value, it exposes the lack of it. So the question is not, how smart is the machine? The question is, how valuable are you becoming? Now, if I lived in 2025, I would teach you this habit. Use AI as a multiplier, not a substitute. Use it to learn faster, not think less. Use it to sharpen your skills, not dull them. Use it to accelerate your work, not avoid it. Think about this. In every era, people looked for shortcuts, ways to skip the struggle, but still receive the reward. And every era proved the same truth. Shortcuts erase character. Character creates value. And value creates opportunity. So what do you do in this world of instant answers and endless automation? Here's the daily habit. Spend 15 minutes every day using AI to improve a skill that matters. Ask it to teach you something. Ask it to challenge you. Ask it to critique your ideas. Ask it to help you write better, think clearer, plan smarter. But, and here's the key, you must still be the one doing the learning, the practicing, the improving. AI can give you information, but it cannot give you transformation. AI can offer you answers, but it cannot give you wisdom. AI can show you shortcuts, but it cannot build your character. That part is still your job. And don't forget this, AI can make average people faster, but it makes exceptional people unstoppable. So the difference between being replaced and being rewarded is simple. Use AI to increase your value. Never use it to escape your effort. Because the marketplace, even in 2025, still respects one thing above all. The person who continues to grow your value, my friends. And no machine will ever replace you. My friends, let me tell you something that's becoming more true every single year. Your attention has become the most valuable currency in the world. Not your money, not your talent, not your time, your attention. Companies are fighting for it. Apps are designed to capture it. Entertainment is created to keep it. Algorithms are engineered to pull it from you before you even know it's gone. And here's the tragedy of the modern world. Most people are not losing to lack of opportunity. They're losing to lack of focus. The average person in 2025 doesn't get defeated by failure, they get defeated by distraction. They don't run out of time, they run out of clarity. They don't run out of talent, they run out of concentration. So here's the principle I would teach with absolute urgency. You cannot lead a life you cannot focus. And you cannot focus in a world you allow to interrupt you. Remember this, Distraction is the enemy of direction, and direction determines destiny. Now, back in my day, focus was easier. There were fewer screens, fewer options, fewer things chasing your attention. But today, if you don't master the art of focus, the world will master the art of distracting you. So what do? You create what I call sacred focus time, a daily block, a protected zone, a meeting with your future self, and you guard it like you would guard the final key to your dreams. Here's the habit: 90 minutes of uninterrupted focus every single day. No phone, no notifications, no conversation, no browsing, no wandering. Just you, your work, and the direction you've chosen. Let me tell you why 90 minutes matters. Not because it changes everything in one day, but because it changes you over time. When you focus deeply, 3 things happen. Your skill grows. The world pays for skill. Your confidence grows. The world follows confidence. Your results grow. And results, my friends, results change everything. You cannot buy confidence. You cannot wish for discipline. You cannot hope for progress. But you can focus your mind, and that is the beginning of transformation. Most people think success is about doing more. But in 2025, success is increasingly about doing less with more intensity, more clarity, and more purpose. It's not the number of hours. It's the power inside the hours. It's not the length of the day. It's the quality of the attention you bring to it. So ask yourself today, who is controlling my attention? Because if distraction controls it, your potential is limited. But if you control it, your future expands. Remember this, my friends. You can't build a masterpiece with a scattered mind, and you can't build a meaningful future 30 seconds at a time. Reclaim your attention, reclaim your focus, reclaim your mind, and watch how quickly life begins to line up behind your discipline. My friends, let me share something with you that most people never learn until it's too late. Your time is not managed by the clock, it's managed by your decisions. And if you don't make those decisions with intention, someone else will make them for you. In 2025, people don't just struggle with time, they struggle with control. They wake up already behind. They rush through the day reacting, not directing. And by the evening, they're exhausted, not because they worked too hard, but because they never chose their priorities. Let me give you a principle that guided my entire life. Your schedule is a reflection of your philosophy. Show me someone's calendar, and I can show you exactly what they value, what they fear, what they avoid, and what they chase. You see, time isn't something you find. Time is something you assign. Time is something you command. Time is something you lead. And if you don't treat your time like a leader, your day will treat you like an employee, always reacting, always responding, always running. Now, CEOs run companies, but you must learn to run your life with the same seriousness, because the truth is, you are the CEO of your minutes. You are the executive of your hours. You are the director of your days. So what's the habit I would teach you in this modern world? Plan your day before the day begins. Review your week before the week begins. Decide your priorities before the world decides them for you. When you sit down each evening or each morning and design your day, you are sending a message to your future self. I am in charge. I decide the direction. I choose the priorities. I am leading the ship. Without this habit, life will always feel like chaos. With it, life begins to feel like purpose. Let me tell you something important. The future belongs to the person who schedules what matters. You don't accidentally build a skill. You schedule it. You don't accidentally deepen your mindset. You schedule it. You don't accidentally improve your health. You schedule it. You don't accidentally strengthen your relationships. You schedule them. Discipline is not built from motivation. Discipline is built from structure. And structure is built from your calendar. In 2025, drifting is easier than ever. You can drift through a whole day and think you were busy. You can drift through a whole month and think you were productive. You can drift through a whole year and wonder why nothing changed. But leaders, real leaders, don't drift. Leaders decide. Leaders design. Leaders direct. So ask yourself each morning, what are the 3 things that must get done today to move my life forward? And put them on the calendar before anything else gets added. Because a life without a schedule is a life without intention. And a life without intention becomes a life without progress. My friends, you don't need more time. You need more control over the time you already have. Become the CEO of your minutes. Lead your day before it leads you. My friends, let me tell you something that has never changed, not in my day, not in your day, and not in any future day that will ever come. The marketplace pays for value. It doesn't pay for time. It doesn't pay for need. It doesn't pay for hope. It pays for value. And the value you bring to the marketplace comes from the skills you develop, the skills that solve problems, the skills that make life easier for others, the skills that move things forward. That's why I used to say, you don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. And in 2025, this truth is more relevant than ever because the world is changing fast. Industries are shifting. Opportunities are evolving. And the person who clings to yesterday's value will be replaced by someone preparing for tomorrow's value. So here's the habit I would teach with absolute urgency. Every 24 hours, improve one skill that increases your value. Not once a month. Not when you feel inspired. Not when things get difficult. Every single day. Why? Because skill is the great separator. Skill is the great elevator. Skill is the great advantage. And here's something to remember. Every new skill you master becomes another door that opens for you. Every skill you ignore becomes another door that closes. In 2025, the world rewards the person who continues to grow, not the person who once had potential, not the person who once had talent, but the person who shows up daily with the intention to become better than they were yesterday. Now, the beautiful part is this. You don't need 5 hours a day. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need special connections. You just need consistency. 30 minutes a day of focused improvement on one skill that matters will change your entire trajectory. Because here's the truth. A little progress each day adds up to a lot of progress over time. And let me give you a little formula. Skill plus consistency equals opportunity. Opportunity plus value equals income. Income plus wisdom equals freedom. So what kind of skills should you invest in? Skills that make you more valuable at work. Skills that help you communicate more clearly. Skills that help you think more deeply. Skills that help you solve bigger problems. Skills that help you lead yourself and eventually others. The world doesn't reward the person who shows up with the same abilities year after year. It rewards the person who shows up with new abilities, stronger, sharper, wiser, more capable. And here's the great secret. When you get better, everything around you gets better. Your income improves. Your confidence improves. Your opportunities improve. Your life improves. Because the marketplace doesn't care about promises. It cares about value. And value grows only when you grow. So make this your daily habit. Spend a little time every day making yourself more valuable. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Become the kind of person who is difficult to replace, not because you're lucky, but because you're skillful. The world is changing, my friends, but the principle remains the same. Value will always find its way to the person who continues to grow. My friends, let me give you one of the most important lessons I ever learned, a lesson that shaped my entire life, my income, my thinking, and my future. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. And in 2025, that truth grows even more powerful because now your associations are not just the people you sit with, they're the people you watch, the voices you follow, the content you consume, the minds you allow into your inner circle through a screen. Your top 5 used to be your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. Today, your top 5 may be creators you've never met, influencers you listen to every morning, mentors you quote but have never shaken hands with, So here's the principle. Influence is invisible, but never neutral. It is always shaping you. Good influence elevates you. Poor influence lowers you. Strong influence strengthens you. Weak influence weakens you. Whether you realize it or not, you are always catching something from the people around you, their habits, their attitudes, their worries, their standards, their energy, their philosophy. And philosophy, my friends, determines your entire life. So in a world where voices are louder, closer, and more constant than ever, one habit becomes absolutely essential. Audit your associations. Curate your influences. Choose your company online and offline with intention. Because if you surround yourself with complainers, you start complaining. If you surround yourself with drifters, you start drifting. If you surround yourself with people who blame, you start blaming. But if you surround yourself with people who grow, you start growing. In 2025, influence is no longer accidental, it is algorithmic. And the algorithm is not designed to improve your life. It is designed to increase your screen time. So you must be the one to filter. You must be the one to choose. You must be the one to say, this voice lifts me. This voice lowers me. This content sharpens me. This content weakens me. This thought is worth keeping. This thought must go. Here's the habit I would teach. Every week, remove one low-value influence from your life. Someone you follow, someone you listen to, someone who brings noise, not wisdom, distraction, not direction, drama, not discipline. Then, and this is equally important, every month, add one high-standard influence. A mentor you admire, a teacher who challenges you, a creator who pushes you higher, a voice that speaks to your future, not your fears, because your environment is shaping you every moment. And if you do not curate it with intention, it will shape you by default. Maybe the most important question you can ask yourself this year is this: who am I becoming because of the people I allow near my mind? Because association is contagious. Mindsets are contagious. Habits are contagious. Values are contagious. And you want to be sure you are catching the right things. If you want stronger discipline, spend time around the disciplined. If you want bigger thinking, spend time around big thinkers. If you want higher standards, spend time around people with high standards. It's not magic, it's influence. And influence quietly rewires your life. So remember this, my friends. Your associations are the architects of your future. Build wisely, choose intentionally, audit frequently, and surround yourself with people who make excuses uncomfortable, because your life will always rise or fall to the level of the voices you allow around you. My friends, now we come to one of the most powerful habits you can adopt in 2025, a habit that separates the overwhelmed from the unstoppable, the exhausted from the energized, the people who try from the people who transform. And it's what I call the 90-day self-leadership arc. Let me tell you something you already know deep down. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. Most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. Most people fail because they lack momentum. They start and stop. They push and pause. They sprint and collapse. All noise, no rhythm. All intensity, no consistency. And remember this, intensity creates hype. Consistency creates change. People try to change their lives in 1 week. They buy a planner. They buy a journal. They buy a motivational book. And for 3 days, they're on fire. Then what happens? The fire burns out because the foundation wasn't built. They depended on emotion, not discipline. They depended on motivation, not structure. They depended on feeling good instead of showing up. So here's the principle. You don't need a life-changing week. You need a life-changing quarter. 90 days. Not too short to be unrealistic, not too long to lose hope. Just enough time to build momentum, strong enough to change your path. And here's the habit I'd teach if I lived in your world today. Choose 3 habits and commit to them for 90 days, no drama, no perfection, no negotiation. 3 habits that move your life in a clear direction. 3 habits that build the person you want to become. 3 habits that align with your goals, your values, your purpose. Let me outline what a 90-day self-leadership plan looks like. Month 1, discipline and stability. This is the month where you build the foundation, not the fireworks, the foundation. The habits that steady your life. A morning routine you don't negotiate. A reading habit you don't skip. A planning ritual you don't postpone. Because once you stabilize your day, you stabilize your mind. Month 2, skill and value. Now it's time to build what makes you valuable. 30 minutes a day on one skill that will matter in your future. Skill compounds faster than money. And after 60 days of practice, the marketplace will start to notice. Month 3, influence and environment. This month, you upgrade your circle. You remove low standards. You add high ones. You surround yourself with people who expect more from themselves and therefore expect more from you. And when your environment improves, your habits follow. Now, here's the secret of the 90-day arc. It doesn't just change your behavior, it changes your identity. Because every day you follow your plan, you cast a vote. I am disciplined. I am capable. I am growing. I am leading my life. And after 90 days of leadership, something beautiful happens. You become the kind of person who doesn't need motivation because you've built a rhythm stronger than emotion. And remember this, my friends. Momentum is the true miracle of personal development. Once it starts rolling, life begins to cooperate. Opportunities appear. Ideas emerge. Confidence rises. Consistency becomes natural. And the person you used to struggle to be becomes the person you simply are. So make this your habit. 90 days of focus. 90 days of discipline. 90 days of small wins. 90 days of showing up. Because you don't need more years. You need one powerful quarter. Just one. Lived with intention, direction, and leadership. And your entire life can change. My friends, as we close this lesson, let me leave you with something I wish I could tell the whole world. Something simple, something timeless, something unchanging. No matter how advanced the technology becomes, or how fast society moves, the world will always be chaotic. But you don't have to be. AI will grow smarter. Distractions will grow louder. Opportunities will shift faster. The pressure will increase. The demands will multiply. But amid all of that, one truth will remain. The strongest force in your life is the person you choose to become. Not the algorithms, not the economy, not the market trends, not the circumstances. You are the architect of your habits. You are the executive of your minutes. You are the guardian of your mind. You are the curator of your influences. You are the builder of your skills. You are the leader of your future. And if you lead yourself well with discipline, clarity, and wisdom, the world will eventually shape itself around your direction. Remember this. Success doesn't follow the frantic. It follows the focused. Success doesn't follow the overwhelmed. It follows the organized. Success doesn't follow those who wait for the right moment. It follows those who create the right habits. Success doesn't follow those who chase shortcuts. It follows those who invest in personal value. And success doesn't follow those who drift. It follows the person who stands up each morning and says, I will lead myself today. So as you step into the days ahead, into this ever-changing, ever-demanding year of 2025, take these 7 habits with you. Guard your mind like a fortress. Use technology as a servant, not a master. Reclaim your attention with intention. Become the CEO of your hours. Upgrade your skills every 24 hours. Audit your influences with courage. And commit to a 90-day arc of self-leadership that builds momentum, not burnout. Because life, my friends, doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution, not wishes, actions, not potential progress, not promises, performance. Lead yourself first and watch how quickly life begins to follow your direction. Your habits shape your path. Your choices shape your future. And your discipline shapes your destiny. Remember the great secret? Everything gets better when you get better. And everything begins to change the moment you decide to lead yourself. Thank you, my friends. Now go and lead your life with purpose, wisdom, and self-discipline.